Well, hello, school counselors and school counselors to be. Thank you guys so much for coming to my channel, The Inspiring School Counselor. And today, as you can already tell from the title below, we are going to be getting into how you can connect to your e-learners. So I'm excited to be getting into this video with you guys, and hopefully you guys are excited too. If you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe, and also make sure you hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time I upload a video. Okay, you guys, let's get into it. So you guys are going to be seeing me look down because I have some things wrote down. But before I really get started, I wanted to first give you guys a little bit of background on how my school district decided to approach coming into this year with, starting school. So we originally was supposed to start school in person the first week of August. But of course, with everything happening still with the pandemic and just the rise in, COVID, they decided not to start the first week. And we actually did not start. I think we started maybe the last week in August or the first 2 weeks in September, somewhere between there, with at least doing like a hybrid schedule. So we would have some kids, certain grade levels come on certain days, and we even transitioned to certain times of day where we would have certain grade levels come. So it was so confusing, y'all. I can't even explain it right. But we actually had different times where students would come in. And if I remember correctly, it was after fall break where we decided to go completely in-person instruction, where the kids were able to come to the school building. The only thing is that there were some parents that were still a little bit leery about that. And so my school district decided to continue with e-learning. So all those parents that didn't want their students to come in the school building, they were still able to do e-learning for the rest of the semester. So not only am I having to attend to the students that are in the school building, but I also had to have in the back of my head that, oh my gosh, I have e-learners that I also have to make sure I attend to too. And I'm pretty sure you guys may have heard this saying. If you haven't, you're about to hear it now. But that saying that says out of sight, out of mind. Let me tell you guys, that's how I felt like when it was me in the school building with the students, with being so wrapped up with, the different situations that rose up throughout the day, whether it was a student was mad because another student hit them, to doing individual counseling with other students because they're just, sad, or they think the work is too hard, to doing 504s and attendances and IEP meetings and all those things. I was one that forgot about my e-learners until a light bulb went off. It was like, oh my gosh, like I can't forget about them. Because they need love too. They need help too, because this is a new time for them as well. And for some of you guys that don't know, I am a primary school counselor. So I'm dealing with the itty bitties. So it was so important for that light bulb to go off in my head so that I can start providing the resources and the counseling necessary to those students that were e-learners as well. And that brings me to my next point that I wanted to make. When you are connecting to your e-learners, you just have to realize that it's not going to be confidential. Like, you just have to have that in the back of your head, that it's not going to be confidential. The reason why I say that, because you guys are probably looking like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? And it's so weird for me to say, because it's just like, no, everything that I talk to my kids, depending on the situation and what's going on, it's confidential for the most part. But when you are reaching out to your e-learners, whether it's through Zoom, Google Meets, or over the phone, you can't control who might be in the room with that student or who might be listening in on the phone as you are talking with that student. So you just have to have that in the back of your head. But at the same time, like for me, I didn't care. Like I was just like, you know what, as long as I can see the student or hear the student's voice, like that just makes me happy to know that I'm able to connect with them some way so that they know that, okay, you have somebody that's, here for you, that cares for you, and that is here to help you in any way that I can. Let's get into the different ways that you can connect to your students. So one of the ways that I came across that I found to be so beneficial, and that was being able to connect to my e-learners through Zoom and or Google Meets. You guys, that became like the best thing ever, because not only am I able to hear their voice, but I'm also able to see their face. I'm able to see the expression that's on their face. They're also able to see the expression on my face as well. And that's if their technology or my technology is working, right? But yeah, I really love that, because though it's not in person, but they still get somewhat of that face-to-face interaction with me. And I'm also able to get that interaction with them, and just being able to see how it is that they're doing and what they're going through, and they're able to express that. So I love that about having Zoom and Google Meets. And we actually started off using Zoom, but for some reason my school district decided for us to start using Google Meets instead, because I think that was supposed to be like more of a secure platform than Zoom. I don't really know, y'all, but that's just something that I've heard. And so we've been using Google Meets ever since. But one of the things that I did like about Zoom, and I'm not sure if you can do this on Google Meets or not, but being able to share your screen. Oh my gosh, you guys, I absolutely love that, being able to share your screen. And later on in the video, I'm going to be showing you guys a resource that I found on Teachers Pay Teachers, and it's a check-in system that you can do with your students as you are meeting them over, Zoom or Google Meets or whatnot, or that you're able to send to them and they're able to send it back to you. But it's a check-in, check-out system where they're able to put their feelings and their emotions, and you guys are able to talk about that. And so that was something that I absolutely loved about Zoom, is that you're able to share your screen and you're able to talk about those emotions and everything that child is going through. And you're also able to brainstorm different ways on how they can deal with that emotion. So that was one of the things that I found as a way to connect to your e-learners. Another way that you can connect to your e-learners is by posting counseling lessons onto Google Classroom or whatever platform that you are using. I know that we're using Google Classroom, and let me tell you guys, that has also been a beneficial way, because you're able to just send them different activities and different things that they can work on that can kind of take their mind away from the academic aspect of school and just focus on themselves, on just their social and emotional well-being. And so I really love that, because I will post things like social and emotional choice boards. So in each, it maybe would be like 30 boxes with different activities in them. So it just gives them a way to kind of just wind down, reflect, and just think about, okay, how they are feeling right now. And it also gives you an opportunity, if it's so that they decide to send it to you, you're able to see the different activities that they've been doing. So, and I actually had some students send me some different things that they have been doing with their choice boards. Another way that you can connect to your e-learners, which this kind of goes hand in hand with Zoom, because in order for you to Zoom, you have to call them anyway, but it's just being able to call them, talk to them over the phone, even if it's just a quick 5 seconds, you probably don't want it to be that short, but even if it's just a quick, maybe minute and a half, 2 minutes or whatever, just checking up on them, hearing their voice, seeing how they're doing, letting them know that you are thinking about them. And so that not only lets them know that you're thinking about them, the child, but it also lets the parents know that, wow, this school counselor is really going out their way to talk to my child. And it also gives you an opportunity to check in with the parents and seeing how they're doing, especially with their child being an e-learner, and how both of them are, maneuvering in this time, so it gives you just an opportunity to just show the parent that you're here for them, and that whatever the school can do to help them in this time, that you guys are willing to do it. So that's also a great thing about calling and checking on those e-learners because you are able to talk to the parents. So another thing that might be beneficial to connect with your e-learners, especially if you have a lot of e-learners, maybe your whole school is e-learning still, or maybe you are like me, you have half and half, but you have like a whole lot of e-learners. Sometimes the best thing to do is just sending out something like a needs assessment, whether you create it in Google Forms or something like that, but it's a survey that you can send out to all your e-learners that can touch on how they're feeling, and they're able to talk to you that way through filling out that survey. And as it's sent back to you, you're able to see, okay, how they're doing. And also, especially if you create it in Google Forms, you're also able to just see the percentages, depending on how you worded your questions, of how the kids are doing, whether I like e-learning is working out for me, or I don't like it, it's not working out for me, and you're able to see that percentage for that. So that is another option that you can do as well to reach out to your e-learners. So that's about all the things that come to my mind. Hopefully that was of help to any of you guys that's out there and that is watching this. And if there's anything that you guys are doing that is really beneficial for your e-learners, and that I have not even mentioned, please put that down in the comments below. I would love to read that, and I'm pretty sure everybody else would love to read it as well. So right now I'm getting ready to show you guys one of the resources that I came across that is a really good resource to use when you're reaching out to your e-learners. This is just something that I have came across and I absolutely love, and I want to share with you guys. So continue to watch.